Hello, I'm Bev Lenahan. Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits. I'm your host for today, and this is a wonderful series put on by KMVT Community Television. We thank you for joining us today, and I'd like to welcome April Bignell. Welcome, April. April is the Director of Family Services at JW House in Santa Clara, and we know that's a wonderful place and a wonderful respite place. I call it a home for families who have medical crises. And today we want to talk a little bit about your overnight services. We know that they are such an important part of your program, as well as other things that you do for these families in need. So why don't you describe your overnight services, and then we'll talk about some of the others.
Sure. So families who travel a long distance, who are in medical crisis, really need a place of respite like JW House. Our families travel 30 miles or more, but many of our families travel hundreds of miles, sometimes thousands of miles, for services here at the various hospitals in Silicon Valley. We work very closely with all of the social workers at the various hospitals, and they refer families to us who need overnight care with us.
So how big is JW House, and how does that all work?
So we have 4 lovely apartments at JW House. We have 2 studio apartments that can sleep up to 4, and 2 beautiful 1-bedroom suites that can house a family of 5. And families are guaranteed 5 nights when they check in, but of course we always try to keep them there as long as they need it if possible.
I would imagine there are longer term needs for sure.
There are. Our longest guest stayed, I believe it was 3.5 months with us.
Oh my.
It was someone who had a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit.
For a long time. So they become family, don't they?
They do. We get very close to them, and they stay in touch. They bring their little ones back, and we watch them grow. It's a wonderful family.
Well, I can imagine there's far more need than you can accommodate. Are there other services that you provide besides the overnight services?
We do, and unfortunately, we can't meet the needs of everyone, and that's the hardest part of my job, is when I get a call to tell a family that we don't have room for them. But then I can turn right around and tell them about our wonderful day use services. For day use, anyone actually who's in any of the area hospitals can come and visit JW House. We have a day use room where they can rest for a couple of hours with a chair that becomes a bed, and they can also have a shower. And one of the things that our day guests really enjoy, and our overnight guests, is the dinners that we provide. We have dinner every evening at 6 p.m. through the generosity of our community partners. Different groups come in and make dinner for 25 to 30 people every evening.
My goodness, that's ambitious.
More than 100 groups help us each year. We served over 7,000 dinners last year to our guests.
And I'm sure that the people who served got just as much as those being served.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. They say that every time.
That's the way it works, I'm sure. So what if there isn't room for the overnight guests in the house, in JW House? Are there any ways that you can accommodate additional guest needs? We
do. We have some wonderful hotels in the area who donate rooms to us, and we also have hotels who reduce their rates for us.
Oh, very nice.
And for those who cannot find housing in the area, we do offer our day use services to them.
Wonderful. Well, we also know that there's going to be an increasing number of people needing spaces like JW House. What are some of the things contributing to a growing need that we see, particularly here in Silicon Valley?
Yes, here in Silicon Valley, many of the hospitals are really specializing now in their services, so people travel further and further, so the need for housing is going up. And of course, with our aging population, the needs for serving folks with cancer is rising, as well as cardiac services. And technology is just improving so much, medical technology is improving so much that people are living longer.
So you have all ages then, from the neonatal all the way through the aging population.
We do. That makes JW House unique. We serve all families. Many hospitality houses serve just children or perhaps just oncology patients, but we serve the whole spectrum. of families.
I can imagine that dinner time's quite engaging there.
It's
at JW
wonderful.
House.
It's wonderful. It's my favorite time of the day there. You might see a family that has a baby in the neonatal intensive care unit and someone whose dad just had heart surgery, and they are helping one another and realizing that they're not alone in what they're going through.
It's a support system too, then, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Oh, well, it sounds like a win-win. And I know that increasingly there is going to be need to work with additional partners and additional growth strategies to think about JW House into the future. But JW was a wonderful visionary, wasn't he? And he and his family made JW House happen, and now there's no